What's up, family and friends? Welcome to the Woke Nation, our nation of factual truth, where we feel free to share knowledge and spread the knowledge of factual truth without fear, without favor, and without faint. Where we encourage us to live our lives and live it well through the knowledge of factual truth because it is our life. And personally, I'm encouraging you to enjoy your life. Live your life as a person. Don't live as a slave. Don't live as a little child. Know that now you are grown. You are born to live, explore, and enjoy your life. So don't let anyone rob you of that joy, you know. And the only way you can stop them from robbing you of that joy is by growing in knowledge. You need that growth. You need to grow in knowledge because knowledge is spring. Knowledge is power. When you have knowledge, you will not be a slave of God. When you have knowledge, you will not be a slave of man. When you have knowledge, you will stand your ground. That's you know yourself, you know your nature, and you're walking in it. It doesn't matter their rants, their threats, all the vulgar word they may use against you is bullshit. Number one, they already seen your greatness. Then coupled with your boldness, it drives them crazy. They cannot pull you down. That's why they will ask other people not to listen to you. You know. So anywhere you are mentioned, they say, "Oh no, he's crazy. He don't know what he's saying. He don't know what he's doing. I don't blame him. God loves him. One day, God will do this. God will do that bullshit. God cannot stop me. God cannot do anything for anyone or to anyone. And I'm above God. You know that. I killed God a long time ago. That's why nobody can see God. I killed God. When they originally created God, I killed God in my former life. That's why no one has seen God at any time because I was there when they created God. Boom! I kill it immediately. So they say, okay, God now is invisible. It's there. So today I'm sharing with us what I titled Unnecessary Suffering. Welcome, Amadi and Amechi. Welcome. Okay. Unnecessary suffering. Okay, both of you in Nigeria, I know you are enjoying the unnecessary suffering. Fuel scarcity, cash scarcity, people using their money to buy their money. So that's unnecessary suffering. It don't supposed to be so. And that's what I'm sharing with us. Unnecessary suffering. What makes people or what makes slaves stay in slavery, stay in plantation, thinking it is a nice place to be or where they're supposed to be? What makes them stay in slavery? What makes Africans condone oppression home and abroad? Do you hear what I just said? Africans condoning oppression, people oppressing them, other race oppressing them at home and in abroad. So what make the poor masses everywhere too afraid to revolt for a revolution? What makes them too afraid to rebel, to revolt for for revolution? That's for change for all of them. What makes most Africans hate themselves for white supremacy? What? Tell me. Tell me what makes Africans hate themselves for politics and the Abrahamic religions. I want you to tell me. If you know, but I know I will tell you now. Oh, Abumbi, I'm serious. I want to come to New York to investigate you, to make sure you are real, what you are showing us. So I can come this weekend. I am free. So I think I will not go to work till next month. That's next week. Okay, so I'm free now. That's why I see the time I'm doing this live broadcast. By this time, I'm supposed to either getting ready to go to bed or I slept all day, so I'm not rushing anything. So I can come, I can enter Uber. I don't want to drive my car to New York because of lack of parking and all those going through toll gates, all that bullshit. No, I rather use Uber to and fro. Okay, so I want you to know the thing that makes these people or makes people suffering unnecessarily is because they have been indoctrinated and brainwashed to believe it is God's will for them to suffer. It is God's will. Have you heard that? I was watching this Godfather of Harlem or something. You know, it's about America, blacks in America. So Malcolm X and the like the drug dealers, all of them, the Italians and the whites, all of them. So I found out even Malcolm X before he left the Nation of Islam. You know, when I think he went to Mecca, somebody was telling him they want to kill him. He said, "If they kill me, that is the will of Allah. If I'm suffering, that is the will of Allah." No, it's not. There's no reason for you to suffer unnecessarily. There's no reason for you to suffer for helping people. There's no reason for you to suffer for living. You're supposed to enjoy your life everywhere. So the teaching of suffering is God's will for reward in the afterlife. That's why you see people suffering, and these people has taken it as that's the normal way. So they're bragging, even they're proud to be to suffer. I suffer in the name of God, suffer in the name of Jesus, suffer in the name of Allah. Oh, for Allah's sake, for Jesus' sake, for nonsense that people don't supposed to condone, they condone it. Nonsense people don't supposed to accept, they're accepting it. They tell you it is God's will. It's God's. Don't you hear some black people saying that it is God's will for us to be enslaved? They say our ancestors were worshiping idols, so God brought white people to enslave us, to bring us back to God through Jesus Christ. Idiots. Arabs first enslaved us before the Europeans. What are you saying? So Allah and the Yahweh, Allah and the Jehovah, they were watching, they send those people to enslave us. And you say it is God's will. No, it is their will, not any God's will, because they have the weapon and they planned it all before they attack us. So it's not something that, oh, God said, okay, go there. No, they planned everything, equipped themselves, came against us. They know that we don't have such weapon as they do, and we don't have such evil plan as they do. But we are waking up. Africa must learn how to get that evil plan, how to get weapons. People that cannot make their own car cannot even build their weapons. You know, you're supposed to know that. Why is China making weapons and they make their own cars? Yes, you can see Toyota there, you can see American cars in China, but China have their own car. At least average Chinese person can afford it, unlike you see in Africa, because we are still slaves. So the teaching of of suffering being God's will is why you see people condoning unnecessary suffering, condoning oppression, condoning injustice in the land. They teach them long suffering. You have to have long suffering, you know, endure to the end. If you endure to the end, you will be saved. You'll be blessed. You will be crowned. You will receive stars on your crown. You will walk on the street made with gold. You will have 72 virgins. You know, God will wipe away every tears. There will be no more death. That's bullshit. They make people to accept suffering, unnecessary suffering, as the will of God for them. So that's why they gave us that coded books, or those coded books, Torah, Bible, and the Quran. And other books like that they wrote, they coded it that when you are reading it and believing what is written in it, you're automatically promoting white supremacy and promoting a black inferiority. That's coded, and also coded names like Muhammad, like Jesus, like Jehovah. You know, coded names like people. Oh, let me give it to to myself, or let me give it to my children. You know, your name is Simon. Your name is Peter. Oh, it's in the Bible. Oh yeah, that brought me to. Let me before I continue. Let me share this with you. Somebody shared a video where Pastor Chris Oyakilome was talking about Nigerian election. So he was talking about the three major candidates. This is how these prophets of God work. You're supposed to know that prophets of God are those who are telling God what God don't know and what God should do. Let me repeat it again. The prophets of God are those who are telling God what God don't know and what God should do. If you read their book, you understand their God don't know nothing. His prophet tell him, this is what is happening in Sodom. It's okay. I will go down to Sodom to know if what they said is true. And also telling their God what to do. They will tell you, God will do this, God will do that. God don't know. So this guy, in the present harsh condition that Nigerians are suffering, both Christians and Muslims in Nigeria, they are suffering now, suffering the scarcity of fuel and the scarcity of cash. Banks not giving them their money as they're supposed to. So this man now begin to say, oh, the Lord revealed to him. The Lord came, the Spirit of the Lord was talking to him. Imagine that. The Spirit of God is not talking to him about fuel scarcity, about a scarcity of cash, but it's about who will win the election. He said the three major candidates. The first one, he said he liked all of them. He said he had positive thing to say about three of them. So he said that the first one, it's like he's a trickster. He said there's a name he gave to him. He went to dictionary. Imagine God telling you something you don't know until you go to dictionary to know. He didn't. He don't speak to you the language you can understand. So you need dictionary to confirm it or to find out what it means. So he said when you check the meaning, it means a trickster. So the person don't know what he's doing. And I say, is it Ahmed Tinubu? Tinubu was 2 times governor of Lagos State. So you can't tell me he's in the politics. He don't know what he's doing. They are just using him. That's bullshit. Or is it Atiku Abubakar? Before even you were born, Atiku Abubakar has been in Nigerian government. You know everything he's doing. But you know what these guys are doing? They see that youth, they don't remember what they said. They said youth are the leaders of tomorrow, not leaders of today. Any country where youth are leading today, you see how evil will be skyrocketing because the elders know how to do something to make it bad, worse like that. So they are leaders of tomorrow. That's what they say. Nigerians believe that youth are leaders of tomorrow. So, but they see that youth, because of internet now, social media, so most of them want P2B to win. Then he said the second one is like if he become president, there will be no more Nigeria, which is what like somebody like me desire. We don't want to have Nigeria anymore. That's the best thing that can ever happen to Africa, splitting Nigeria. Because when Nigeria split, you will see the potentials of people that have been caged in that contraception called Nigeria. So then he said the third one. Oh no, he said he don't want to name names. Remember, anyone that tell you they don't want to name names, they are living in fear. They are living in fear of what will happen to them or what people will say. So, because they don't want to offend some people, in politics, when you support certain candidates, or many of them will that support other ones will be against you. They will begin to develop cold feet towards you and all that. That's how sometimes ministers of God lose members because of the type of person they support or supported in politics. So he said the third one, you don't want to say a name. He said his name is in the Bible. What a coward. Pastor Chris Oyakilome is a coward. He's a thief. He's a liar. There's no Spirit of God talking to him. But he made up all those things, judging with what is happening, just as they can do it in any football match or anything. They can just look, and he's saying his mind. That's what is his mind, right? So he said the third one is afraid to win, whereas afraid to not to lose, something like that. And he said his name is in the Bible. The whole crowd begin to jump up. Whose name is in the Bible? Is it not Peter Obi? Peter Obi's name is in the Bible. Jonathan's name was also in the Bible, yet Buhari beat him and became the president of Nigeria. And you're telling me Peter Obi will become the president of Nigeria? And I lie. I say that. Quote me. Even if he win tomorrow, I will still tell you what will happen. What will continue happening in Nigeria? It doesn't matter who becomes president in Nigeria. All of you that are in Nigeria, one Nigeria, our country, you are stupid. Nigeria is not our country. Nigeria is British country. Company even, not even a country. It's a company. It's a business company. It does not matter who you put there. It does not matter. It's just like the same thing in religion. It does not matter who becomes your religious leader. It is the same bullshit. It cannot change. It cannot. There's no way. It can only get worse. It can never change for better or for good, as using their word good. So you see people jumping up, and I like the way Ifani commented on it. I listened to the voice message before I get say let me come online, where he was saying, I know Nigeria, these people keep doing the same thing, expecting different and living in hope. I've been saying that, right? They are living in hope. Africa as a whole, not only Nigeria, the whole Africa. The reason why we are still living under Berlin Conference of 1844, we are still living under it because of people. They are living in hope, so they become victim of hope, victim of faith, victim of fear, victim of love, and victim of humility. And the people that have these characteristics or these imaginary characteristics, following it or it being in them, look at their life. You see, they are suffering unnecessarily. They see it as God's will. Oh, I tried that and it did not work. That's God's will. If that one didn't happen, what would have happened? No. Nothing is God's will on earth. It is people's will. The day you will to liberate yourself, you will liberate yourself. The day you will to get divorced, you will get divorced. The day you will to do anything, you will do it. Not any God, not any devil. And that's why when you look at native doctors too, what they're doing, people are doing something and telling you it's a spiritual thing. You are stupid, you are the one doing it. If it's a spiritual thing, then leave it. Let this see the spiritual beings do anything. But they also confuse you, telling you you are a spiritual being and a physical being. You are not. You are a living being. Everything about you is powerful. Your body is powerful. There's no spirit in you. There's no soul in you. You have all natural organs in you. If you learn their function, you will live well without having any fear of God or belief in God or faith in God or hope in God or love of God or fear of God or humble yourself under God. The teachings of long suffering, that's what is killing more people in Nigeria than any virus, in Africa than any virus. Fear of God. Muslims fear Allah. Christians fear Jehovah. Those that say they are Hebrew Israelite or in Sabbath or Judaism, they fear Yahweh. And where you mention that name, like saying, oh, it does not exist, they attack you. Yet these people are suffering unnecessarily. Look at a place called Nigeria today. All the anointed men of God, all the anointed churches, all of them. Yet people are suffering. Some people cannot go to their village anymore just because they have little money. The only people that travel freely today to their villages are the poor ones, people that are suffering, people that cannot build a house or have their own car, but you have a good car, they're coming after you. They're coming to kidnap you or coming to kill you. So these people, because they have taught us this, they taught us CRK and IRK, right? Christian religion knowledge and Islamic or Islam religion knowledge. Everyone that went to school in Nigeria that I know Nigeria very well. That's why I was born and bred. Everyone that was born there, you must be either exposed to Quran or to Bible, not to any science book, not to something. That's why you're supposed to know that school is indoctrination. It has nothing to do with building you up or making you to live better life or great life. No, it is indoctrination. That's why they have those things there too. So imagine a native doctor or somebody that says a traditionalist in Africa, and your children, you have children, they are going to school. A native doctor, his children is going to school. What are they teaching his children in school? Not only English language, also white supremacy through Abrahamic religions and all that. And you see how we are confused as a people and not growing as a people or living as a people. We are confused people. They confuse us through those educations. So what do you expect? That's why when we make money to think, oh, we want to remove shame from our family. We want to remove reproach from our family. We want to show people now God is blessing us. As I said it in my last video, no, God is blessing you. It is the benefits of work, not the blessings of God. Your success, your achievement, all of them are the benefits of work. It has nothing to do with any blessing of God, grace of God, any bullshit of God. It has not. So they use the life of Job. That's another story they use in the Bible to code suffering is God's will and it will later become better. Don't worry, keep suffering. At the last, when it's God's will, God will remember you. God will change your situation. But let me start with it. Let me read it for us to see. In the book of Job, chapter 1. So Job was a rich man, the richest man in his own time, older than Abraham, because many of you don't know that Job existed before Abraham according to the Bible, although Job never existed in reality. No character in the Bible ever existed in reality. All of them are fictional characters. But going according to their Bible, Job was a very rich man. He was righteous. He commits no sin. He's a great man that feared God. He is true evil. So he was upright. Yet, God played gamble with his life. He did not commit any error. He did not offend any God or any man, according to the story. Then God began to deal with him, send Satan. He said, okay, you can touch everything, touch his body, but don't touch his soul. For those of you that are spiritual, you're supposed to know when you say that spirituality is not religion, but you believe you have spirit in you, you have soul in you, that's religion. It's a belief. Okay? So they tell him how when they come, his children were partying, when they came and struck the house, he fell on them, all of them died, blah, 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 blah. So what did Job say? Verse 20 and the 21. Or to end, he said, then Job arose after he heard that bad news. After he heard that his children have died, stupid man, as a righteous man, remember it's a story. Then Job arose, tore his robe, and shaved his head, and he fell to the ground and do what? Worshipped. Not even think, have a rethink, let me think. No, he worshiped. Is it not what is happening today among our people? They are suffering all this, scarcity of this, separation, all that. What they end up doing, on Friday, they go to mosque. On Saturday, they go to synagogue. On Sunday, they go to church. Some of them that are crying against fuel scarcity, some of them will sell fuel for their car for only going to church. They will not use their car to go for business places, but for church, for religious things, but for their family, for themselves, they say no, because they behave like this. He tore his clothes, he fell down, shaved his head, fell down to the ground and worshiped. And he said, in his worship, he said, naked I came from my mother's womb, and naked shall I return there. You see a lie there. If you are thinking, we never return to your mother's womb. You did not come from your mother's womb. You came from the earth, and that's where you will return. You did not come from a woman. That's another lie Africans are holding and spreading it in spirituality, telling you that a woman is God. A woman is not God. Black woman is not God. A woman is above God. Black woman is above God. Stop belittling yourself with these coded things they put in the book. But if you read it, say it's right, it's not. Common sense will teach you that you did not come from your mother's womb. You came through your mother's womb. You came through your father's also loins or waist. And you are not returning there. You return where you came from. You came as the result of the food they ate and had sex, conceive you and born you. Hear what he said. The Lord gave, which is a lie. He was a working man. The Lord did not give him whatever he had. The Lord did not give him children. He had a wife. The wife that gave him the best advice any wise woman can give to the husband. If you say you are worshiping this God and this thing happening to you, curse that God and die. That's why they did not tell you anymore about Job's wife, because he was a wise woman. God cannot deal with him. God cannot make him barren, make her barren, I mean. Unlike the daughter of Saul, right? Daughter of Saul, the one that David killed men to marry. They said, because he told David, why are you disgracing yourself, dancing like this? He said, come on, I do that before the Lord. He said, the Lord made him barren. He was childless. She died childless. I think that's the only woman they said died childless in the Bible, which is a lie. But think about that. He said the Lord gave and the Lord has taken away. Don't you hear people saying the same thing today when somebody die in their family? When they bring the priest, when they begin to do the funeral, they must tell you this type of thing. The Lord gave, the Lord has taken away. Hear what he said. Blessed be the name of the Lord. 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 Oh man, I used to be stupid when I was a Pentecostal Christian. Say, blessed be the name of the Lord for what? For robbing you your children, for robbing you your riches, for robbing you your joy. You are saying, blessed be the name of that Lord. He said, in all this, Job did not sin nor nor charge God with wrong. This is what believers are doing. Job did not sin. That means he did not look for healing in the hospital. He did not go to any doctor. So if you are a believer and you are sick, or your car break down, you go to mechanic or you go to doctor, you have sinned. But to show you trust God, you so blessed be the name of the Lord, then don't go to any man for help in your time of need. Let God provide for you. And he said, Job did not charge God with wrong. God did wrong to you, yet you did not charge God with wrong because you are a coward. You are living in the fear of God. If you are bold, you will say, God, you are wrong. And this thing you did, there's no reason why to do it. You are evil. I like the way he said it, but he was saying it like a question in Job chapter 9, verse 23. He said, when the innocent dies suddenly, God sit back and laugh. He said, if it is not God, tell me who. Who else can do that? I believe God has all power. So God is the one that blind the eyes of the judges, that sentence the innocent to jail, kill the innocent people, all this evil going on. God is responsible. He said, if it is not God, tell me then who. Oh no, that's also a lady made a post on Facebook, saying about some believers are waiting for bad thing to happen to her so that they will say, yeah, that's God's will. That's because she don't believe in God. You say no. How about Job in the Bible? One guy pick it up there. You know how you always see them everywhere. He said, no, finish the story of Job, the later life of Job. Let's say, I don't care about that one. You can finish it. I don't care. But at least the first one will teach you. So God will let you suffer so that at the end he will bless you. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. And I say, if I have people, I can add that movie where you see, you let your children go and suffer. They will arrest you. They will call it child abuse. Just to go sell something, not even like you are beating them. No, just give them. They don't. Their mates are going to school or relaxing at home. You send them to go be hawking in the street. They will arrest you, like in America here. They will arrest you, right? Okay, so he said that. Then after you call them and say, okay, because you suffered, I bless you, and I give. That it doesn't make sense. Why should I go through that? Why? To show that so God don't know that you trust Him. Or you want to show devil that somebody trusts you? The devil you say that those your children shouldn't believe in, shouldn't trust, but now you are playing gamble with that devil. That's why you're supposed to know that God and devil are one entity. So this is it then in chapter 13, the same Job chapter 13, verse 15. Oh no, many Christians, they quote it, but in their time of need, they don't practice it. 13:15, right? Job 13:15, it says, though he slay me, yet will I trust him. Why should you trust somebody that slay you? Stockholm syndrome. You fell in love with your captors. You fell in love with your abuser. You fell in love with your oppressor. You fell in love with those who are making life unbearable for you and your people. Listen, I'm living in America. I don't supposed to be even doing this if I don't care. I'm living in America. I'm living my life. Okay? But look at my people. My people are suffering. Then you want me to start a movement or something, taking money from them again? I will never do that. As Sister Mechi, I've been looking at that. If anybody can give me something to win lottery in America, like all this million Powerball, Mega Millions, or all those, they have different type of. If I can win, at least let it be $20 million. Man, I will start something. And I said, also, I'm looking for somebody to fortify me. No police will come in my area to operate. No army. No, we don't need them. We need ourselves. That's all we need. I said, at least for your people. This, he said, even if he's, though he slay me, I will yet trust him. Even so, I will defend my own ways before him. Now, you know you slay me, but you know I've been faithful now. Please have mercy on me. Please, come on. I've been serving you. You know, why should the other people say, where is your God now? Come on, they're mocking me. Father, please. Father, please. That is the nonsense people are believing. Although in reality, they buy them. Then they run to people. They run to organizations begging for money. Some of them that used to brag to you because of what is going on in the bank today in Nigeria, you see that, oh, they have been taking money from bank and claiming it is blessing of God. They're taking loans to do business. They take loans to supply goods or do all that. Then they claim it is the blessing of God. But reality is biting them. And we keep biting them until they do the needful, which is breaking Nigeria. So the reason why people are suffering unnecessarily, whether individually or as a people, is this believing it is the will of God for me to suffer. God will remember me. So they begin to say some certain words, and I wrote them down here. They say something like, God will remember me and bless me. Remember, was it last 2 years or last 3 years? I told you I have conversation with my father. I said, listen, and I'm already I'm already old man now. See, you see gray hair. I said, this God you have been believing, when will God bless you? He said, God will do it. You will remember me. No, I said, no. Me at my age, I'm asking you that. You're supposed to know. I don't believe that anymore. I don't practice that anymore. But you are my father. I have not seen that God bless you, done anything. It's only when you achieve something or people or other people do something, you say it is God. Maybe your children give you something, you say it is God using them. No, it's not. No, God is using your children to bless you. Your children are walking. And because you taught them to believe also it is God's will. Oh, God gave you to me, so you take it. No. Taking care of your parents or taking care of your children is a natural thing. It has nothing to do with any God. Also, they say God has a greater plan for me. God has a plan for me. He said his plan for me is good. It's not of evil, to give me a prosperous future. No, God has no plan. This is one of the things that make you suffer unnecessarily. And then they also said God's time is the best. Oh man, that's one of the ridiculous things you will hear from people. Even people that are committing those things, they say, Bible, their God said they should not commit. You will still hear them. God's time is the best. God's time is the best. Don't worry, hold on. God's time is the best. No. How can you be going to work and you're telling me God's time is the best? Stay in your home and wait for God's time. Let's see. When is your God's time? You don't know, but you believe there is God's time. The same way you have not seen that God, you believe there is God. Nothing like God's time. Also, they say, I leave everything to God. I leave everything in the hand of God. God knows best. He knows better. God, I leave everything in the hand of God. People are raping your children. People are stealing you, destroying your things. And you say you leave it in the hand of who? So, which hand did they leave what I'm doing to you in? In the hand of Satan? And Satan is prevailing? And your God is doing nothing. Oh, they also said, not my will, but God's will be done. They also used that of Jesus. So come on, learn from Jesus. God's will did not happen in him, because you say, if you call on me, I will answer you. That's what God said in the Old Testament. Jesus was hanging on the tree. He said, my God, why hast thou forsaken me? God did not respond. He did not respond. That guy died. They put him in the tomb. Because if God did not forsake him, God will say, no, he died. No. He came back again. So why do he have to die in the first place? If he can't stay dead, then it's not a sacrifice. The sacrifice must stay dead. The sacrificial lamb must stay dead. If you say he died and come back again, he did not die for anything. It's not a sacrifice. If God abandoned Jesus on the tree, which they call cross, God is abandoning you. That's why you are suffering unnecessarily. And out of fear, like Job, instead of you to question God, instead of you to apportion blame to God, you end up worshiping the same God that was oppressing you. Oh, they also said, I have no power of my own. I surrender all to God. I surrender. I surrender. You have no power of your own, yet you wake up, you dress up and go to work, and you say you have no power of your own, yet you carry Bible. You say you don't have power of your own. Yes, you bow down, hitting your head on the floor as a Muslim. You say you don't have power of your own, especially you born-again Christians. You don't have power of your own, but you go for evangelism. You don't have power of your own, you go to church. You don't have power of your own, you are the one dressing up and going to those places. Not any God doing anything through you or for you. Also, they say, who are we to question God? Who are we to question the word of God? Who are we to question the will of God? If God let it happen, that is his will for us. This is why you are suffering unnecessarily. I will never suffer unnecessarily. I will never suffer unnecessarily again. I will never. Never. No power can make me do that unless you lock me up or you chain me down. But I'm free. You want me to suffer unnecessarily? I will walk out. That's why I went for divorce. And that's why anyone that does not value nature, I don't associate with them unless I am benefiting from them. That's how it's supposed to be. Also, they say some stupid thing like, we don't know now, but we understand on the last day or on the judgment day before God. You don't understand, you don't know now, but you believe after you die, you will understand on the judgment day. You don't know the day will be, but you believe by and by we will understand. I have had Jimmy, is it Jimmy Swagger, right? That evangelist. He used to say that, you don't need to know how. You don't need to know when. All you need to do is to believe. Just keep believing. By and by, you will understand. No, I want to understand now. I want to know now. I want to be wise now. I don't want to be foolish now, and after that, that's when I will become wise. No, I need to know now. That's why I am a knower. That's why I'm African. That's why I am a living being. That's why I have my brain. I don't have my brain to know in the grave. No, I have my brain to know in the now. If it exists, I need to know it now. I need to see it now. Oh, no, another thing they will say, I am nothing and I have nothing without God. I am nothing without God. I have nothing without God. Let his will be done. And are suffering unnecessarily. Oh, you don't know how God was. Maybe God let them come and do this. For better thing, greater thing is coming. Better thing is all lies, my people. It's time you trash those things. The teaching of the fear of God makes one a long-serving, happy slave. You need to free yourself from the bondage of God. You need to free yourself from the slavery of God, God's slavery. You need to deliver yourself. And I will read in closing from 1 Peter chapter 2. 1 Peter chapter 2. You see how I'm teaching you certain things in the Bible that you are not paying me, you are not giving me offering, you are not giving me tithes. Eh? If he's a pastor, he will say, God will deal with you, God will punish you. It's a lie. God cannot do anything. So I will read this place for you to see. 1 Peter chapter 2. So you need to, I want to show you that you need to deliver yourself from the bondage of God. You need to. That's why I want to show you now. Okay. So I want to read it with a place they have slaves on it. NIV. Has it? Yes. Okay, here. From 13. He said, submit yourself for the Lord's sake to every human authority. It's not God's authority. But hear what he said. He says, submit yourself for the Lord's sake, not for the common sense sake, not for the progress sake. No, for the Lord's sake. Lord. Another word for the Lord is the slave owner. For the Lord's sake. Whether to the emperor as the supreme authority. Emperor, who is the supreme authority? Emperor. It's not God, right? Okay. Or to governors who are sent by him to punish those who do wrong and to commend those who do right. So God is the one that sent the governors. That's what they're telling you. So the election you are doing, they're just using to deceive you. You don't need to do election to select who will be governor. God is the one that sent them. For it is God's will that by doing good you should silence the ignorant talk of foolish people. So by you being stupid, you should silence. Of course, the one they will say that ignorant of foolish people, they will call somebody like me foolish person. I'm talking there is no God. You are a fool. Okay, okay, yeah. Let me be that fool. So long I'm not submissive to your God, I'm not worshiping your God, I'm not living in fear of that God, I'm not going to hell, I'm not going to heaven. I am here on earth. He said, live as free people, but you are not free. You hear what? Live as free people, but do not use your freedom as a cover up for evil. Live as God's slaves. How can you live as free people when you are God's slaves? Slaves are not free. They can claim to be doctor, engineer, in plantation. In that slavery they are. Yet they are not free. You can't be God's slave and claim to be free. You are not free. Everyone that worship God is living in bondage. It doesn't matter the name of your religion. You say you believe in God, you are living in bondage. Oh no, but I'm not serious with religious stuff. But I believe there is God. You are a slave. Show proper respect to everyone. Love the family of believers, not your own family. You know that. Luke chapter 14, verse 26. Say, love the family of believers. Fear God. Honor the emperor as the supreme. You see, they put emperor after they say fear God, they say honor the emperor. Remember, they call the emperor what? The supreme authority. That's when they wrote this, was when the Roman emperor was in power. You know, and Africans say it is God's word for them. It is God's will for them. Verse 18. He says, slaves in reverent fear, in reverent fear of God. Talking to slaves, people that are supposed to be free. He says, slaves, in reverent fear of God, submit yourselves to your masters, not only to those who are good and considerate, but also to those who are harsh. For those of you in Nigeria now that are saying, but Tinubu will never be president, there are old people, blah, blah, see what is happening, blah, blah, blah. Your God is watching, all right? Okay, he said you should be also submit to them. You know, submit to whoever becomes the president of Nigeria. Although you are suffering worse things, you keep submitting to them. That's the word of your God. He said, for it is commendable if someone bears up under the pain of unjust suffering, unnecessary suffering, because they are conscious of God. People are condoning unnecessary suffering because they are conscious of God. That's why politicians are clergymen or religious leaders are working hand in hand. You hear Pastor Chris say he don't want to name names. You see them, they don't put it forward. They don't tell their church members, let's go and rally. We must stop this scarcity of fuel. We must stop. We know what to do. God has revealed to us how to have surplus fuel. God has revealed to us how to have surplus money without going to bank anymore. We can keep our money. God, everything we commit in the hand of God, God will protect it. Your God cannot protect your money. That's why you put it in the bank, because you know armed robbers will come and rob you. But in Africa before, you fortify your family. Armed robbers will never come to your family. Even when you are out of your family, they come in, they stay there until you come back and catch them. He said, we say someone is commendable if someone bears up under the pain of unjust suffering because they are conscious of God. Think about that. Because they are conscious of God. That's why they will let it slide. I remember 1 year like that, you know, the things that like this thing happening in Nigeria. Pastor Adeboye opened his thinking mouth and said, you know what we have been through in this country? God has been seeing us through. They keep being through every year. They keep being through suffering. And they said it is because they are conscious of God. God they have not seen, God they cannot see. They feel guilty if they don't pray to that God. They feel guilty if they don't worship that God. They feel guilty listening to you saying there is no God. Verse 20, he said, but how is it to your credit if you receive a beating for doing wrong and endure it? But if you suffer for doing good and you endure it, this is commendable before God. That God. Whether you call it Chukwokikabiama, Yahweh, Allah, Jehovah, whatever name that God you believe in or worship is called, thunder, fire that God, that God, that God. That's why it will never be well with you that believe in that God or serve that God until you wake up. Yeah, you believe such thing work. You say, I can make declaration too. So I'm calling on us, black people, Africans everywhere, free yourself, deliver yourself from the bondage of God. Stop living in the conscience of God. Such God does not exist. Live in the consciousness of yourself. Be conscious of yourself. Be conscious of your environment. Study things around you. Nature is there to teach you a lot of things that no one else can teach you. Wake up. Trash every belief system. Trash God. Trust Jesus. Trust religion. Trust spirituality. And live humanly. Engage your brain. And you will see how you live well. Gordon.